Marc Warnke, the goat guy. So people ask all the time, what is the best fencing plan for owning goats? So in all my years, this is how I found it to be the best. If you have a small property, stock panels are super duper, ooper nice. I really like them. And these with field fence or some kind of fencing work amazingly well, especially if you put that fencing on the other side. Now we reconfigured this, but I always want to put the fencing on the opposite side where the goats can't get to and rub on it, or they mess with it a lot. This particular instance, we rechanged some fencing, did it real quick right before winter, so this is not a great example of that, but that's what I suggest. If you have a small property, stock panels are amazing because you can move them, you're not set in that plan. They're quite expensive. They're not a cheaper way to go, but they work really well. You just want to put the fencing on the other side. And this, I wanted to have you here on the corner of the property because I wanted you to see the difference between field fencing and horse fence. Now, field fencing, you'll notice these big grids here, I believe they're 6 by 6. Down here, it goes to 4 by 6. Little goats with little horns can still get their heads through here, and then they get them stuck, and you got a goat stuck in there, and it is a total pain in the butt. I heavily recommend that you do not use this kind of fencing, that you use horse fencing. Now, I'm not super rich. I had 3 miles of fence to do on this property, and we moved in here a year and a half ago. And so I have not been able to do it optimally because I couldn't afford the horse fencing, which is more expensive. Now it does a better job, but it's slightly more expensive. And when you multiply that times 3 miles, it was a lot of money. So I had to choose to use this in some areas, but I use this and prefer this and suggest this. Now in combination with these 6 by 6 peelers and your ability to stretch, horse fence is amazing, but you can get away with how we did it here, which as you can see down here, we ran the 6-inch peeled poles about once every, what is that, probably 20 yards, and then we ran T-posts in between. And then you cannot just do it just like this. You have to have electric as well. So you run electric wire on the middle and on the top, and what that does is keep these goats from climbing up here and trying to get these leaves off right here and tearing your fence down. If you just go with this and the T-posts and the horse fence, they will tear this fence down quickly by 2 means. One is leaning up on it to reach for brush and stuff on the other side. The other thing is that they'll rub down the length of it because they like itching their fur off on it, especially in the spring when they're shedding their coats, and they'll sag that fence in over time and it'll loosen up. They'll loosen the T-posts. So you have to have electricity in combination with this setup, where if you have stock panels, you do not, because they don't rub against it. They can't push through it because of how the bar configuration is. But these are the 2 ways that I think. 4 feet, by the way, is plenty high, especially when you combine electricity. These look low right now because we're standing on snow, but they work during, I never have goats jump this. I never have a problem with that. So if you're doing fencing and you have goats, these are what I recommend that you go with. The horse fencing, the 2x4 panels are by far the most superior. They're slightly more expensive, so that can get expensive. You can use T-posts, you're gonna need to combine with electricity, or you can use stock panels like I showed you earlier. So if you're the kind of person that is trying to start out in goats and looking for help in resources like this, and you don't want to peruse all the misinformation that you find on different sources out there, we have courses that'll teach you everything you need to know about raising goats, from babies to helping a goat have a baby to running pack goats. And then we have resources for you as a homesteader as well through our lifesteading movement. So I hope you find that helpful. Those are some fencing solutions. Marc Warnke, the goat guy, signing out. Have a nice day.